Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Uncharted 2 Crushing Difficulty walkthrough, and this is chapter 4, also known as The Dig. Can you dig it, people? And we're moved into the center of Lazarevich's operations, and the first part of this we're gonna go completely stealth through. So just wait for the first guard to come over to the crate, and we're gonna move over to the second one. And the key here is to be quick. I mess up a little bit, and that is a good thing because you can learn from my mistakes, and you can see that the game is quite lenient when it comes to this part. And it's discard, because if you wait too long he will turn around like he will do for me. Or he was about to turn around, so Nate slams him straight in the face instead of breaking his neck. And that was the last guy. And when we move into this little hut, we're gonna trigger the next fight. And this is the first instance where I'm gonna use grenades in this game. And I wanna put your attention to this. This is the best grenade throw I have ever done in my life. One grenade, 6 guards. That's how you do it. That's a massacre with a grenade. But this fight, there are 3 waves initially, or 4 waves. Those first guards that are now hanging around and lying around, and then there are gonna spawn in 3 waves of enemies. One, you're gonna listen to Sully saying they're coming in from your left, they're coming down the middle, and they're coming in from your right. And the first wave comes here from the left. And this is a great position to be in, because the only threats you have while you're sitting here is if a guy shows up with a shotgun, then he needs to go down immediately. We all know how the shotguns work. It's an instant kill if they get too close. And also up there on my left. You see, one guy tries to flank me. And that is the biggest threat, because if you're unprepared for it and you don't react fast enough, they will kill you. You see, I'm getting really close to death, but I keep on blind firing because I don't want to risk anyone coming from the other side. Wow, not a great grenade throw. I was on fire this day. But always check that little steel thingy, whatever it's called, that platform. Stay here and keep an eye on it so no one tries to get up there. And just hold this position. And I like to keep 1 grenade at all times, because it can get you out of tight spots. And you also need a grenade for later in this fight. Because there is a tower up on the left where they will spawn in some machine gun fellas later, and we're gonna need a grenade to take that out. And there are 2 crates containing grenades up in the hut. Here comes a shotgun guy. Quick blast of blind fire into him. But there is 2 crates up in the hut which contain grenades, and I don't know if they infinitely spawn grenades, because you have to have them to take out the tower. So maybe if you use up all your grenades during this fight, you will still be able to get them up there. Which I assume you do, because otherwise that would be a fatal mistake, and I think we've moved past that in games. And also here, now is one of the only times in this game where your AI companion is at a real risk of dying. Because 2 guys spawn in on the left, and then 2 other guys are gonna spawn in on the right, and you need to take them out quickly. Because if they get too close, they will kill Sully, and I think you have to restart at the start of this fight. So just quick control bursts, then Sully's gonna say that reinforcements are arriving. And the tower we are gonna take out later is up there on the left side. So I fall back into this hut, I restock my grenades. And soon you're gonna see a little transition, because what I should have done is I should have moved back to where I was sitting over on the left. Instead I tried to make a stand in here, and it didn't work out great. And I'm not quite sure how the checkpoints work in this fight. because that big tower is very soon gonna start firing. I think the checkpoint is when the reinforcements arrive, and maybe there's another checkpoint when that tower starts firing. But I died quite soon after. You see, now it starts firing, and very soon you're gonna see, right, there's transition. So I don't know if the checkpoint is when the tower starts firing, but just try to stay alive until they do it. And now this is a much better position to be. The best position would have been to move over to the left side, but I make my stand over here. And those big machine guns are not the biggest threat. They can at times clip you through cover. I see right there, I think he grazed my arm while I was blind firing. But their damage output is quite nerfed. And as I said before, you remember back in the good old days when you could do fatal mistakes in games? You know, when you could do a mistake that put you in a position that you couldn't complete the game? That was my problem with when I played Fallout 2 way back when, late 90s. Can't remember exactly when that game came out. I played that game for months, and I got really far, and towards the end of that game you need to get on board a ferry to get to the final area. And apparently you need to go to a shopkeeper and get the key to the machine room if you are very intelligent, because they want you to repair it. Also, quick note here. Just hang here and lob a grenade into the tower and that will take them out. Well, anyway, you have to go to the shopkeeper. You have to get the key to the machine room. And I got in there during the evening. So he wasn't pleased and he started firing at me, and I got really pissed and completely obliterated him. Which was really fun at the time until I saved my game and realized I could no longer get the key. Which was annoying because that was my only save file and months of gaming just got blinked out of existence and completely useless. So I never completed that game because to complete it I would have to start over from the beginning, and that was not fucking happening. I had spent too many hours on that. And I think that is one of the reasons they started with checkpoints and autosaves in games, or at least checkpoints. Because in the Uncharted games, I think at times the checkpoints can be really bad. They can put you in awkward positions and they can move you across the board, as you have seen in a few of my Uncharted 1 videos, where the game suddenly moves you from one area of the fight to another, and you can be in a really shit position and have a really hard time. But the good thing with checkpoints compared to save states is the fact that if you make a manual save and you save over your previous game, you may put yourself in a position where you can't win. If you make a clumsy save where you have 2 bullets left, 15 enemies, and you're blindfolded, have one arm tied behind your back, and your world is just a pile of misery, like I did in Fallout 2. There was no way I could save that. I later realized, years later, because I was just a kid when I was playing it more or less, that there were patches. Well, I think it was quite a common problem and an unacknowledged problem, so I think Bethesda had patched it. And also maybe there were
Stand at this wall.
Yeah.
whatever they're called, when you spawn in things in a game. Can't remember what it's called.
More bodies.
But one of those mods where you open up and you put in things that
They all killed each
you
other.
don't have. Actually,
Get
you
going.
get better things. Oh, it's so annoying when you lose the word, but cheats. You get what I mean. But we are getting close to the end of this chapter. We have walked around in the dark, which I really like. I think the blue lighting in that area is absolutely amazing. Or the lighting in these games are quite cool overall. But anyway, we're getting up to the last part of it, and now we're gonna run away. Things have... shit has hit all kinds of fans, and we need to run. And during this short sequence, you can die. That is sometimes completely up to the game. But it's a very short sequence, so it's not that annoying, but it can be very irritating because there's not much you can do. You can just keep running. But... anyway, we made it, and that was the end of chapter 4. So, as always, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So, until next time, this is the Wolfman, signing off.